Hey everyone, welcome back to your English fluency lesson. Today we are talking all about your opinions and your beliefs. What do you believe to be true? What do you think is the answer, maybe? How do you feel about something? Yeah, we're going to learn how to say this fluently. So let's take a look at our first sentence, which is I believe that hard work pays off. Ooh, our tone is going to be very, very important when it comes to expressing your beliefs and your opinions because it's very easy to come across as sarcastic. And we don't want this unless we want that, okay? Let's take a look at this sentence. How do we smooth it out? First, I, bel I believe that. I believe that. I believe that what? What do you believe? So I believe that, and then we have our thing that is important. I believe that hard work, what? Pays off. Do you see that? We are making a point of saying these things extremely clear. Why? That is our opinion. That is what we truly believe. So we want them to stand out and smack you in the face. We want you to know that this is exactly what we're saying. I believe that, nice and smooth, right? I believe that, what? Hard work pays off. So imagine your grandmother or your grandfather are telling you some important life lesson and they say it like this. That way it is etched in your memory. You'll never forget it. You understand this is the hard truth that they believe. And that's how we want to say this. So repeat after me, and we're going to emphasize this because it's an important thing that I believe. It's a core thing about me as a person. I believe that hard work pays off. Hmm. I believe that hard work pays off. Even if I speed up the end part, pays off a little bit faster, hard work still jumps out and slaps you because it's the most important thing. It's my belief. Easy, we understand it. Let's move on to the next one. Our second sentence is, in my opinion, this is the best option. Okay, so now we are going to say this with authority, right? Imagine you're in a meeting and you all are giving ideas about what to do. And then your boss looks at you and you say, in my opinion, this one is the best one. So we're going to say it like that, just like you would say in your native language. We need that same pausing drive of this is the answer. So let's smooth this out. In my opinion, perfect. And it's almost always going to be this way. In my opinion, opinion, yun, opinion, in my opinion. Cool? In my opinion. Now, we've got our comma there. So in my opinion is always going to be said this way in every sentence, okay? So just memorize that part. What? Imagine you're pointing at something. This is what? The best option. This is, see, it kind of comes close, right? This is what? The best option. Boom, boom, boom. Same thing. We smack you in the face with the answer of our belief, our opinion. In my opinion, this is the best option. The best option. Zero blend. Zero blend. It's our opinion or our statement of truth or fact that we believe is the truth. Oh, you have to listen to it, okay? That's the meaning and what we're trying to carry through that is the best option. You understand? I hope so. Repeat after me. In my opinion, this is the best option. In my opinion, this is the best option. Or maybe you push back from the table. Oh, in my opinion, this is the best option. The best option. See, even like we've been talking about this for hours, it's still said the same way. In my opinion, this is the best option. We're emphasizing that point, okay? So that clarity, that separation of words is very, very important. Let's move on to sentence number 3, which is, I skipped it. Ah, I strongly believe that education is important. Same thing. We're going to have lots of pauses between words to drive that point home. Think of any president or very good speaker that you have. They will have these moments. Here's one of those moments. Let's smooth it out. Ready? I strongly believe. I strongly believe. I strongly believe. I strongly believe. There it is. I strongly believe what? Now, this what separates this, right? Because it's important. I strongly believe that education, there's no T, that the T is gone. That education is important. I strongly believe that education is important. Imagine you are looking at a crowd of people and you're saying this sentence, right? I strongly believe that education is important. We changed eye contact with another person. That education is important. That is a good transition time between the pieces to show you, kind of like when we talk about or. Do you want this or this? We have that kind of transition. But when it comes to the choices, we have a slightly delayed amount of time, right? It's a little bit bigger. This or this. That's too much for this transition of words, right? I strongly believe that education is important. There's a break, a bigger break than normal, but not as big as a choice break, okay? So repeat after me. I strongly believe that education is important. I strongly believe that education is important, right? When we look, it gives us that time that we need to say it correctly. So I do that all the time. Sometimes I won't turn my head. I'll gesture with my hands. Boom, right? And that movement helps me with my timing. You'll see a lot of my hands. I hope you've noticed because I'm trying to show you the timing with my hands all the time. But you'll see I emphasize things with my hands. Let's go down to our 4th sentence, which is, she thinks that exercise is good for health. I think it is too. I need to do it more often. Let's smooth this out. She thinks. She thinks that. She thinks that exercise. She thinks that exercise what? She thinks that exercise is good for health. Is good for health. We're not stretching it out as much as those strong opinions, right? Those strong beliefs have more time, right? Let me scroll up here. This is the best option. See how much time was in there? And then here, education is important. Lots of timing here. But in this one, exercise is good for health, is good for health. It's something that she believes and thinks, but it's not a strong belief. Do you understand the difference? So we don't stretch out that time to emphasize these words. We give it just a little bit more because this is a normal opinion. She thinks that exercise is good for health. It's almost like a natural sentence, right? But we're going to put a little bit in between these extra ones. Is good for health. Is good for health. Cool. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. Couldn't get that one out. She thinks that exercise is good for health. What do you think? What does she think? What does she think? Oh, she thinks that exercise is good for health. Maybe she's a doctor, or maybe she's a physical therapist. Maybe she's an Instagram influencer for exercise. I don't know. But she thinks that exercise is good for health. Cool. Let's move on to our 5th sentence before it gets too long here. Because I think you understand the point I'm making. The stronger we believe in something, the more time we add in to emphasize that point. Fifth sentence. In my view, everyone should vote. Ooh, I gave you a foreshadowing. It's just like the slap in the face I did before. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to have a strong opinion here. Let's smooth it out. In my view, we're coming down, right? In my view, what? Everyone should vote. Can we blend that a little bit? We could. If this is a less important point, right? Everyone should vote. We slowed it down. Everyone should vote. But if it's really important, everyone should vote. Everyone should vote. Do you see how those have a different feeling to them? One is obviously expected. Everyone should vote. Common sense, right? It's so obvious we need to emphasize it because you should know, you know? In my view, everyone should vote. This is more of like a statement. It's something I believe, but I'm saying it quickly so that the strength of my belief is obvious. It's not a strong belief, okay? So the slower that we emphasize each word, that means my belief is stronger. So repeat after me. In my view, everyone should vote. Or, a little less important, right? In my view, everyone should vote. Common sense, right? You can see how the tone changes, the meaning changes just a little bit. And our sixth sentence is, I keep missing him. There it is. I think this is a good solution. Similar to the other one where we're in the meeting, right? But it's not really separated like it was, okay? Where we were looking at choices and saying, oh, this one's the best. It's a different statement, right? So we're just giving a actual statement here. Let's smooth it out. I think this. I think this. The T for this goes away and becomes less of a T and less of a D. It's like an in-between sound. I think this. It's like a TD sound. I can't talk today. I bring my tongue back behind my teeth for d, but I make a t sound, right? Like a TH sound. I think this. It's not a this where it's really enunciated. It's back. It's a little lazy. I think this. See, it's behind my tongue, or my tongue is behind my tongue. That's just having a hard time here. Wait, you know what? Let me get a sip of water. Yeah. I think this. My tongue is right behind my teeth, okay? I think this what oh, we're blending again because it's not as important of a sentence, right? It's not as strong of an opinion. So I think this is a good, I think this is a good, this is a good. It's all touching now. I think this is a good solution, is a good solution. We separate good solution. That's where our emphasis is, but it's less emphasis because it's not a strong belief. I think this is a good solution. There it is. Repeat after me. I think this is a good solution. You know, we've been staring at this for a while. I think this is a good solution. It's not a great solution, so I don't have to say, I think this is a great solution. See how the gap between the words got stronger, bigger, right? Because I believe it more. I think this is a great solution. This is just a good solution. This is an okay solution. It's an adequate solution. There's less strength in the words because I don't believe it as strongly. But when I believe it as strongly, I think this is the only solution. Right? No other options here. This is it. This is it. When I'm making a strong point, I separate them, I have lots of space. I think this is an important skill to learn because it really matters when you say something important to yourself. Education is very important, right? I think the way we deliver our beliefs and our opinions is very important because if we give it the wrong way, it doesn't sound like you believe it. It doesn't sound sincere. It doesn't sound truthful. It can also sound sarcastic. And we don't want that unless you want that. Like if you're making a joke, right? I think this is the best solution. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. I don't really care. My tone shows this. My delivery shows this. I didn't put any emphasis on the words. It's important. Okay, cool. Now I will see you for the next lesson, which is all about giving instructions and directions. Hey, that's important, right? I think learning how to give instructions and directions is very important. I'll see you there. Goodbye.